Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought on another fantastic guest. But before that, please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here, and let everyone know we have a couple. I have a couple of campaigns running. One of them's not mine; it's my wife's. She's running Tall Tales, volume number 4. This is for Tall Tales, right? Thieves Quest, and this is volume 4. We also have volumes 1, 2, and 3 also available, so you can go check those out as well. So those are all available. And I have the Oswald Chronicles currently running on Kickstarter, and we have these very awesome looking books. This is my 100 Artist project, and this one is If I Was a Few Inches Taller. So you can go check those out. A lot of nice work in there. And for the first 45 physical backers, you guys are going to get this coaster, this sheet of stickers, and that little pin right there. That's a little acrylic pin. All right, so that's for the first 45 backers, and there's only a few left. So if you hesitate, you might not get one. Anyway, without further ado, here's our fantastic guest, Mr. DJ. Please announce, let everybody know who you are, please.
Hello, everybody. My name is DJ Keawekane. I'm a creator and artist from Hilo, Hawaii, and I've been doing the independent art scene for about 18 years, doing comics as a freelance artist here in Hawaii for the last 18 years.
Nice. Now, in the last 18, how did you start? Well, actually, let me hit you with the basic question. This question I ask everybody. It's one of those questions that everybody gets asked. Well, I like to ask everybody. So when it was little DJ, right? And little DJ was running around collecting comics. I don't want to know your first comic, but I want to know the first comic that inspired you to create comics.
The first comic that inspired me to create comics, it's got to be X Factor 63. I think it's 63 or 64. It's Will Sportasio on the cover, or is it 62? I forget which one it was. I just had this question and I'm blanking out. But anyways, yeah, it's one of the early Will Sportasio X Factor comics from the 90s, and before that I was reading these Kung Fu comics, Jademan comics, and
right.
And then I walked by and I was like, whoa, what is that? And I saw Will Sportasio's cover of the X Factor, and I was like, I gotta be into this. Whatever this is, I gotta be into this. And then so I start reading that, and so I flip open and I see Penciler. And I'm always with my pencils, and that's the first time I actually heard the term or found out the term penciler. I was like, oh, this guy uses pencils, and somebody goes over, just that word penciler. It's like that makes me as a 8th grader feel like I have a pencil, like I can do that, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, so somebody gets paid to do this, you know what I mean? And then I found Jim Lee's X-Men, and off to the races I was stuck on the X-Men and for a long time, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. I was there. I started off with I started off at the butt end of John Byrne, Chris Claremont.
Yeah.
So I started off just around was it 137? The Death of Phoenix. Like that was like the first one I picked up. And then from there I ran probably about 100, 200 issues like straight. And then I gave it up. I gave up on the X-Men a while ago. So
yeah.
So it says I was checking out your bio, and it was like, so you've been in comics for 18 years, right? And you've been working primarily as a penciler.
I do pencils and inks usually. Usually I do pencils and inks. I just ink my own stuff. I've done some writing. I've done some just pencils. And then for my stuff, for EXILLION, I do everything. I do the writing and the art. Well, I don't do the lettering and the colors, but I did do colors on issue 5, and I'm like, I don't ever got to do that again because it's just too much work.
Right. Yeah, my wife is the same way. I was telling you, she's an artist, And what she's found is farming out the flatting helps out a lot. She gets someone to flat for her, and then she just,
I
does
did
it.
that too, but it was just, and then my
Still,
comics are 30 pages, so it's like it's a lot, you know.
yeah, yeah. No, no, definitely, definitely. Uh, so, so when you're sitting down and you're figuring out your stories, like you what are you doing? Are you writing like a full script for yourself? Are you laying out postcards? How you working at?
I do well, I do I beat the story out. So I
Mhm.
beat the story out. I got like the broad strokes and I typed that out. And then I go, I mean, I don't know if you heard the you take the notebook and you page one and there's one line and all
Right.
the way down. So this for me there's 30, 30 pages. So it's each line is one page. And
Mhm.
then from there I go and I do my little thumbnails.
Right.
And from the thumbnails I blow up. Well, actually this last issue, I'm doing issue 6 now. I'm just going straight onto the board.
Mhm.
That's because I don't know, I just usually that's the way I do with the thumbnails. That was the way I did most of it, but I'm finding now I just want to skip it and just get straight to the drawing because I'm doing more,
Mhm.
and also I feel like just more confident as an artist because I've drawn so many comics, and I just feel like challenging myself and stepping up the just s- up in the ante or something. I don't know what it is, but I just
Mhm.
you get bored after a while when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over. And so right now for issue 6, I'm just going straight onto the board. I might do a little thumbnail just so that I know for myself, but I'm not doing the whole like I have the story typed out, but it's not a full script, but it's all in my head.
Right,
It's
right.
like
You've already worked it out. You're right. No, no, I got you. I got you.
yeah, yeah.
Um, no, that's cool. So, I mean, when you find yourself like working out your story, are you? I mean, you obviously have an endpoint. Are you? Are you? So you're just working out a page as you go.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but like you said, I have an endpoint. I know where we're going, and I know how many pages I need to like. So I break them up by scene. So this scene has 4 pages. This one has 2 pages. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
okay, I gotta get from A to Z in these 4 pages, and I
Mhm.
gotta get I gotta hit my marks in these 2 pages. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
it's all broken down in those little things in my mind, and so it's for me it's like drawing a little mini comic. So it's like, okay, this one is just same
Mhm.
characters but here, and then now we're moving, and so it's
Mhm.
I
No,
I,
no,
I know where I'm going.
no, no, I got you. I got you. No, that's cool. Because, well, I mean, going back to the whole thing about like you've been working in the industry for 18 years. So like early on, were you doing like pencils for other people?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the first project I did, I think yeah. So the first project I did was the only one I did the pencils,
Hmm.
and then somebody else did the inks and the colors and all of that. But then I realized I can make more money if I ink myself.
Nice.
and
Uh,
then plus finding an inker was hard for me. Like finding an inker that if somebody's gonna kill my lines, it might as well be me. because
right.
and some of them were working like some of the inkers that I knew, they're working at Marvel now, but at the
Hmm.
time I didn't like what they were doing.
Hmm.
And so I said, yeah, I can do the inks myself, and which is good because that saves me on two, that process right there is, so now I'm hitting two processes in one.
Right.
Saves
Got
that saves time, so people who hire me, they can, you can get the pencils and inks in one shot. So
you. Mhm. Okay, cool. Now, this is what I wanted. This was the question I would wanted to ask you. Is like, so what was when you were penciling and inking somebody else's story? How do you prefer your script? Do you prefer like a full script, like they do a DC panel one page one, or do you prefer something like a Marvel style where it's a little bit looser and they'll
I like both. I've worked on both. Sometimes the full script is better if the writer has a better idea of
Mhm.
what they want on the page. But I also do Marvel style where they just give me, okay, I just need this and this. whatever, do whatever you want to do, and then and that's why I can have fun.
Hmm.
But also it's like, oh, can you put this inside? It's like, you told me do whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Right.
but they get an idea, and then now they want to
Hmm.
change it up, and so it's like,
Right.
but I do like the freedom of having someone say, hey, I trust you. Go ahead, do
Hmm.
what you gotta do, and you do them. So I like both. Um, when it comes to if it's dialogue heavy, if it's a lot of you
Hmm.
know if the what you call the lettering is gonna cover up the artwork, then I'd rather have, like, especially if the characters are speaking,
Hmm.
please give me the dialogue. If you give me the dialogue, then then I can, because I when I lay out, I usually write the words inside, so I have the where the balloons is gonna go and who's gonna speak first and all of that.
Hmm.
So I like to see at least the dialogue, but um so the guys that I usually work with, they trust me already, and they know the way I work, so they usually just give me the broad strokes, and even if they switch up the dialogue, I give them room, and all of that stuff.
All right, cool, nice. So, um, in doing all that stuff, well, actually, let's go. Here's the other thing. So you're out of Hawaii, right? Like, how's the comic culture out there? Like I said, I'm in New York City, right? So obviously, different sets of cultures. So I mean, I'm just curious as to how is it out there?
I love it. I mean, I really love. I love our, like, our. I don't know if you've been to Hawaii, but in Hawaii there's what you call an aloha spirit. So everybody
Hmm.
who lives here, we kind of look after one another. We kind of take care of one another. We kind of It's a big community. You know what I mean? So I
Hmm.
live on the big island, and then there's the different islands, and I got friends on all the different islands, and so when we do the conventions, we get to see our friends from the different islands, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. And the comic culture over here is awesome. And like, so like, case in point is most of the people that backed my first campaign at EXILLION, they already bought issue one already.
Right.
You know what I
Nice.
mean? Like, they already bought, but they're just supporting. I'm trying to
Hmm.
reach, like, I'm trying to reach the Kickstarter audience.
Right.
And I'm
Hmm.
trying to break in and all of that. And the guys that showed up for me was the guys that show up for me at the convention scene here in Hawaii, and I love that. But I also feel bad because they already got this issue. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I kind of knew that was gonna happen. So I loaded up the rewards. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I kept it simple, so because I had to do everything, but still I tried to stick in as much as rewards as I could handle,
Hmm.
so that the people who I knew were backing me yet again they're gonna get something new out of it.
Right.
So
Oh.
um also with that was issue one was 30 pages,
Hmm.
and then the other issues were like 24, 26. So I just couldn't stick more pages into the next books. Like, issue two is originally was 24 pages, but now I'm gonna up it to 30 pages, so that the people who back can get they can get something else out of the story. I mean, 6 pages in comics is a lot. You can do a lot.
Yes, we can do a
So
great deal. Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah. Look, they told Iron Man's origin in 2 pages. So
right, 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 right,
back in the day. So
right,
yeah.
right.
Uh, so I mean, this is your first campaign created. How are you dealing with that? Because I know that anxiety that's there, and just getting to your goal and all that. So how are you dealing with it?
Um, it's like um, it's I hit my goal in like 3 days, and then,
Nice.
like, that took all the wind out of my sails, and I was trying to promote, and trying to get on different platforms, and trying to just stretch myself out, and
Mhm.
you hit everybody knows you hit that plateau when you do crowdfunding, and I was no like, I knew it was coming, but it came early on. It
Right.
came early on. In the middle was like, wow, I don't think maybe 30 days is too long of a campaign. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, this is my first time, so I'm trying to work it out, and trying not to ask for too much, but still yet I want to, widen the audience and just trying to get my stuff out there in front of people. And it's good because I finally got to touch base with people that I knew uh,
Mhm.
from the comics community, but not in Hawaii. That they're also on the Kickstarter platform.
Right.
So that was cool. And I have a lot of people that I can pick their brains because they're ahead of me. So
Hmm. No,
that's
no.
also. But it's kind of not rough, but it feels like I don't know. It's just weird when you have a campaign on,
Hmm.
but I feel that okay. I feel like I can do this. Like I can keep doing this. If I have, if I can block out the time to do it. Because before this, oh man, I was so nervous. I was so like just dreading everything, and I just overthought everything. I just I was worried about. I was so anxious about everything, and now I only got like I think 70 hours left, and so it's like I already hit my goal. I really hope the thing picks up again. I know I got to start pushing them, but I got kind of
Yes.
busy. I got kind of busy in my daytime life, so I kind of had to like how it is. You got to balance.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Those last 3 days, it tends, especially the last 48 hours, it tends to pick up. The algorithm opens up a little bit more, and like you'll see a bit of a rush. You know, you also have people who are watching the campaign, and they sometimes don't like to commit to a campaign till the end,
Oh,
because what happens is that they know that their credit cards are going to be charged at the end of the campaign, so they want to make sure they have money in the account. So that's why some of them do
oh,
it like that. So yeah.
oh, yeah. That's the thing that always throws me off about Kickstarter is when I back. In my mind, the money's gone, right? And
Right.
and and I plan for the money because okay, I got so much money, and then
Hmm.
I back, and then it's like a couple months later or whatever. It's like, hey, we're gonna take this place. Like, wait, I
Right. Yeah.
have the money now. I
Uh,
don't have the money. You know what I mean? You know how
yeah.
that goes.
Yeah.
So
No. Definitely. Yeah.
something I had to learn too is they take out. It's not right away. So
Right. Yeah. It's at the end of the campaign, and then you have 2 weeks to wait before you get your money, and then unfortunately, well, hopefully you won't experience this, but sometimes you have people that back out at the last. They just won't, like, their credit cards die on them. They who knows what happens, but they end up not paying, so you end up losing those backers. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. I've only
yeah.
had it happen a couple of times, maybe like 4 or 5 times, and that's like not even that many, probably like 2 or 3 times, and that's out of 26 campaigns, so it's a pretty good average.
Oh,
But
yeah, that is good. Did you ever come into a situation where you were like borderline on the goal and then somebody pulled a pledge and then now you're beneath the goal? Like that's like
not towards the end.
okay,
Like, it'll be like somewhere in the middle, right, where you're trying to
right?
get there, like you're almost there, and then like, oh, somebody pulls, and you're like, oh, you know. But thankfully, never towards the end. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm also seeing that guys that do a lot, they keep the goals pretty low,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
yeah, I think that's fair. You know what I mean? Like because you know what it takes, how much it takes to put out the comic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people, all right, the argument is this, right? You set it higher, right? So that you push yourself harder to promote it and do all that stuff, right? A friend of the show, Christy Shin, she set her goal at $7,000. And I was like, and she did like a 60-day campaign, and I was like, God bless you, lady, you crazy. But
Right,
she was on it, and she made her 7,000. I mean, she squeaked over. I mean, she
right.
made like 71, 7,200. She squeaked over, but she did it though, and it
Awesome.
forced her. Yeah, it forced her to like get on it and just like hammer, hammer, hammer. Whereas, like myself, like I'll do a $1,500 or $2,000 campaign, and this campaign that I'm running now is running a little. It's actually pretty slow for me. Normally, I'm used to already funding by this point. I'm still a couple $100 under, but I'm sure I'll make it. But you get you get complacent.
Right,
You're
right.
like, oh, I funded. I could go to bed now. I could,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like as soon as it was 3 days, and then I hit the goal, and I was like, oh, and I was like, oh man. But then in the middle, I was like, and then so I scheduled. I scheduled the interviews and the push in the
Mhm.
you know I mean you must know what the dead zone. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, the dead zone. Yes.
the dead
Mhm.
zone. So so I put, because I had so much time to plan, I put everything in the dead zone and then still dead. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and that's fine. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Just like you said, it might be waiting and all of that, but it's like it does some things to the confidence. Like, you know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
it definitely does.
Already funded it. It's like, whoa, I could, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that I knew about the dead zone before, because if I
Mhm.
did not know about the dead zone and then I hit the dead zone and I was like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
this is not a good, like, you know what I mean? Like, it can just break you down. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Especially as creative people, we critique everything and we just break everything down. In so
Mhm.
we devalue ourselves in that way. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean, oof, like I think like 2 or 3 Kickstarters ago, my goal was to get at least one backer every day, and that's pretty much my goal every Kickstarter. Is at least get one backer every day, even during the dead zone. One, 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 one. It doesn't matter. $2, it doesn't matter as long as I get one. So yeah, that's always rough. You know, hitting that dead zone and just, but that's what you got to push for. You just got to keep pushing,
yeah,
understand that, and because yeah, it's like you sit there, right? You're questioning yourself. It's like, why do people hate me, right? Right? It's like, why doesn't anybody like me? What did I
yeah,
do?
yeah,
It's like, what did I say? How did I say it? Right?
right,
So you're constantly, all those questions run through your mind, right? So you're just like, and then, but the real question should be like, how do I push it? How do I promote it a little bit better? How do I get the word out? Because really, that's all it is. It's just signal to noise and just
yeah,
reaching that bigger audience, and that's always the rough thing. That's why I reached out to you, right? I don't know. I've never met you before this, right, DJ?
right,
So
right,
it's one of those things. You got to reach out to people. You got to talk to them. You got to do the exchanges. On the update exchanges. That's important.
I suck at those, man. I really suck at those. I gotta get better. But I'm seeing how everybody does it. So
Mhm.
that's another thing that I've been learning is like, oh, so mind you, this whole typing and all of that, that's just not me. That's just like,
Mhm.
it took me 2 years to put this campaign together
Oh,
because I
yeah.
was computers just wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? Just
Mhm.
it took me so long just to get everything. So, but now I'm a little bit more confident, and email lists and all of that stuff, updates and all of that. That was not my thing. Like, so it's like now it's like, okay, I gotta focus on these areas,
Mhm.
and that's a lot of work. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of work. Like, I wish I was trying to get my wife to do them. She's like, no, you need to do it.
Right. She's like, nah, buddy, this is your job.
Exactly, exactly.
Gotcha. No, I
So,
mean, the one thing I would advise is like, if you're gonna do them like with updates, just keep them simple and small. That's the one thing I learned from other guys. Like, I don't like to update like every week, right? Because they like you should be updating every 2 or 3 days during the campaign to motivate your backers so that they'll help you out on Facebook, Twitter, and all these different places. And I'm like, I just, you feel like you're bothering them, right? But it's
right,
kind of like they kind of do understand that this is part of like the deal, you know.
right,
And
right,
what you just have to do is just find things to talk about. And
right,
then
right.
just if you're doing the exchanges, just say, look, check out these campaigns, and that's it. And like, try for me, I try to not to sink more than like 30 minutes in it. I just type out something really quick, make sure everything's pretty much spelled correctly, have some nice graphics in it, throw them in, boom, that's it, and then just send them out. Even when it comes down to like other people's stuff, I just take the headers of everybody's thing, and then just put the whatever cover they might have there. I just copy and paste it into the thing and just
Right,
release
right, right, right.
it. And obviously put in the link.
Learning all of that right now, and like for me, it's like I wasn't the best like student. You know what I mean?
Mhm. But
I wasn't the kid that did my homework.
but
I was
listen, man, you draw comics, man. That's not easy, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, but I like doing that.
Right. But it's still not easy, and it does take a lot of skill, especially when you're doing panel to panel art and you're doing sequential art. That's not simple. I've met a lot of fantastic artists can't do it. They can do
Right,
pinups, right?
Right.
But panel to panel, poof, you just might as well put a gun to their head. You know?
Yeah. I like the panel to panel stuff. I live within the panels. It's not that. It's the it's the updates. It's the copy pasting and all of that stuff. That stuff is to me is so tedious. You know what I mean? It's
Well,
so tedious. You know.
here's what I advise: do it in Word, right? And then make a simple template for yourself that you can adjust,
Oh.
right? So that you can take out names, put in names, copy and paste, and then depending on how many places, you just copy that page that you did, paste it into the update thing, put in pictures, and send it off. There you go. So see if that works for you a little bit better, because then you save that for the next time, and then you just switch up a few words, go about it, boom, and then you do it again.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using that.
Because look, man, it's not a thing. It's a thing about trying to work fast. And I'm lazy, man. I because I write my stories and I letter my pages, right? So I need to get on my computer and letter. But the other thing is that I like watching TV, right? I watch The Boys. I watch Stranger Things. I watch whatever's on that's looking good. I want to rewatch Farscape again. It's you gotta have time for that stuff.
Yeah.
So if you work fast, you have a little bit more time. So that's how I advise. Just work where you can.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of. I watch Stranger Things and I'm watching The Boys now, but I don't. Other than when there's like something on, I don't watch TV a lot. Like I watch TV maybe half an hour a day, like if there's not like Stranger Things or whatever, you know what I mean. And that's just when I sit on with my family, you know what I mean. But other than that, I don't. Unless my kids is like, Dad, you gotta watch this anime or whatever. Then I'll spend like 2 hours watching.
Right.
We get that anime out of the way, but like
nice.
Most of my time is either doing my, doing this stuff or doing whatever I gotta do for the church. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But yeah.
I'm either watching TV while I'm eating, right?
Yeah.
I'm eating and I'm watching TV, or I'm working out. Now the problem is I haven't worked out in 2 years, so I have to get back to that so I can watch more TV.
I gotta get back to working out too, man.
COVID, man. COVID killed me. I had COVID and then I had the Omni. Omni was nothing. That was like a cold. But
did you have the Delta?
No. I had the first one, whatever the first one was.
The first one was bad enough, man.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty crappy. I slept for 14 hours, no more, probably like 16 hours a day, at least. Yeah, it was terrible. It was 2 weeks. We made it through it, so it was all good.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, dude, let's talk about it. Let's talk about EXILLION.
Okay.
Creed of the Nighthawk. What was the genesis of that? How'd you get into that?
So it's sword and sorcery fantasy, and my inspiration was Dragonlance, the Dragonlance novels, but also like the 90s comics. So like Battle Chasers is huge for me. Telos, cross-gen comics. So all of that. So I wanted to tell my own story within a world that was similar to those worlds, And so that's what EXILLION is. EXILLION is the place where I can tell my stories. So EXILLION is the place, and Creed of the Nighthawk is the first story. So the Nighthawk they're the protectors of the land, a bunch of knights, but it's the coming of age story of Ambrose, he's the main character of EXILLION. So for my series, Ambrose is the central character that's going to basically walk through the whole series. And so it's his journey to become a Nighthawk. And so, he's just a street rogue kind of, having the time of his life with his two friends, and while he's scheming and drinking away and just living the life that every 17, 18-year-old kid just wants to live. The Nighthawk is out fighting these orcs from the Reach, which is not far away, and so he has to make a decision. And then he finds that he has these powers, and he doesn't understand the powers, and so he has a choice to make. Is he gonna Is he gonna keep going and just messing around with his friends, or is he gonna help and defend his homeland from these orcs? So he this is his entry into the Night and Hawk, and how that plays out. But the land is rich with, just the world is just rich with all of these cultures, and there's elves and knights and dwarves and orcs and magic orders and all of that stuff, all the fun stuff that we love in our sword and sorcery fantasy. All of these tropes, they're in there, but it's definitely my own story. So the characters is, and then um you'll see you'll see that there's a lot more characters than just Ambrose, that they kind of color up the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
Alright.
it's action, it's comedy, it's
Look,
uh,
it looks awesome, and your artwork is great.
thank you. Yeah, taking my cues off what we see, just the things that we as artists we pull from, which is a lot. We
Mhm.
pull from a lot, and so I needed to, and I wouldn't consider myself a writer per se, but I wrote the hell out of this story. Took me like 10 years to get issue one written, because I kept drawing and drawing and redrawing and redrawing, and till I finally was like, okay, I need to stop. I need to settle down, and I just need to get one issue done. And so I finally finished issue one, and then I was able to move on. So I got 5 issues done and working on issue 6 right now.
All right, cool. Now, how
So
much longer do you expect the series to run beyond like the six?
depends. I just for now I just want to get to 6.
Hmm.
I want to do something else. You know what I mean? I want to
Okay.
do maybe superheroes or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm. So is
Um,
that the first arc? Is the first 6 issues?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool,
So
cool.
the first arc is 6 issues, um, and then I want to take a break, and then I want to do superheroes or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I'm a old school Marvel and DC guy, like 90s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. That stuff. The beat 'em ups, the
Right.
dudes punching, beating each other. I love that stuff. You know what I mean? It's that's a genre that I came up in, and that's the one I gotta do next.
All right, cool. Now, do you want me to play the video?
Yeah, you can play.
Hi, my name is DJ Keawekane, artist, writer, and creator from Hilo, Hawaii. I've been doing independent comics for 18 years. I started off as a webcomic artist on this project called Spy 16. You might have seen my work online or from work I've done here in Hawaii, like Amakura Guardians of Hawaii or Big Dog Inc.'s Island Tales. Most recently on Monocomics' Young Kamehameha One Shot. After years of trying to land gigs at Marvel and DC and submitting pitches to Image, Boom, and Dark Horse, I got tired of sending in submissions and decided if I was going to draw comics, I might as well do the comics that I wanted to do and tell the stories that I want to tell and draw the kind of stories that interest me. So I'm here now in Kickstarter to bring you EXILLION Creed of the Night and Hawk, Issue 1, a 30-page full-color sword and sorcery fantasy comic. It's the coming-of-age story of Ambrose, the hero of EXILLION, and how he came to be. At its core, EXILLION is a story about heroism, brotherhood, tragedy, overcoming loss, and becoming a hero. It's high-octane action with good characters, some drama, some humor, and a lot of heart. I've been selling this series here in Hawaii at conventions and have 5 issues completely done. But now I want to bring EXILLION to a new audience and continue building up my fan base. Check out the reward tiers. I kept everything simple since this is my first time at Kickstarter. And thank you all for your support.
All right, that looks really cool.
Oh, speaking of COVID, I got COVID in that video. when I make the video.
Right. No, I got you there. Well, listen, you made the video, you made it through, so that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, so you did the 6 issues, you did all the illustrations, you did all this other stuff for all these different companies. I mean, like, how did like, are you still doing work for other companies, or or are you just trying to focus on your own work?
Well, right now I'm taking a break from all the different like the other companies is usually my friends, and they usually help me out too. So you know what I mean. So like I do some work for Mana Comics, and so I literally just finished. He just finished kickstarting another project right before this one, and then I was able to launch. So I couldn't. One of the reasons I couldn't launch is because I got tapped to draw a couple other issues of different comics. So it's like that, along with learning how to like do the emails and do the marketing and all of that stuff. That's what took me so long. So, but I'll probably if because it's work, you know what I mean. And it's like not just work. It's just that it's another project that I get to draw, but I don't have to do the marketing for. You know what I mean?
Right. Got you.
And then it's usually those scripts are way easier than my scripts, and it's I don't know, it's fun for me, but I mean it does slow me down though. It does, like, it takes away from my from my personal goals
Projects.
and but I do enjoy it. And but that so yeah, so then I probably do another superhero Hawaiian superhero one, but I'll do them. You know what I mean? I'll kickstart them and I'll write them and do all of that. So you know what I mean? I got some ideas. I probably gonna do not a sci-fi, not sci-fi. I would say space opera. You know what I mean? It's kind of like D&D meets Star Wars. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. It's fun where it's familiar things, and you go off into an adventure, and you escape this world, and you get away. You know what I mean? That's what I really enjoy, is when you get to go along on some ride and on some journey, and then you come back and you feel better. You know what I mean?
No, I got you. What was the other project that just finished Kickstarter?
Oh, it's Young Kamehameha. So the first king, not first king, but the king who united all of the Hawaiian Islands is King Kamehameha. And so Young Kamehameha is like the beginning, his origin story kind of deal.
Right.
And let me tell you, if you are into history and all of that, Kamehameha is like brutal. It's awesome. It's awesome. The story is crazy long. It's historical. I mean, and there's a lot of violence in there.
I'm sure. Yeah.
A lot of violence in there and all of that, but our story takes place in the beginning, so it's pretty awesome. This is pre-contact. You know what I mean? Pre-missionary contact. So it's ancient Hawaii, ancient prophecies, ancient kahuna, you know what I mean? Ancient warriors and all of that. The whole it's pretty. I mean, if you like that sort of thing, then think apocalypto.
Gotcha.
Don't think about palm beaches and palm trees and pineapple drinks. None of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is Apocalypto meets Shaka Zulu, but in Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Right.
Think along those terms. People they think about resorts and surfing and all of that. Like, no, none of that.
Right. No, I got you. A lot of people getting hit over the head with clubs.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing? There you go.
Yeah.
No, I got you, man. No, that sounds awesome. You got to put me in touch. The next time that guy does another campaign, you got to let me know. Put him in touch with me. I'll bring him on the show.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, Chris is awesome too.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, it's all a thing about, spreading out the community, meeting new people. Like I said, you're in Hawaii. I'm in New York City. When are we ever going to have an opportunity to meet?
Right. Exactly, yeah.
Except here, that's what's awesome about it. And like I said, it's just working out the network, just making it bigger, especially for indie comics, man. I, like you, I grew up on Marvel and DC. I love them. I love Frank Miller. I love John Byrne. I love my Alan Moores, my Neil Gaimans, my Grant Morrisons, all that stuff. I love all that stuff. But now it's like it's indie time, and that's it.
Yep. It really is though, like kind of like the Wild West. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, I guess this would be equivalent to the underground movement in the 70s or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But it's different because the internet is a game changer. So it's pretty. We live in amazing times, if you ask me.
So let me ask you this, man. Who like? Obviously, you saw Kickstarter around, right? What was the campaign that you saw? You say, you know what? I think I'm gonna try that, because you saw the campaign. You say, you know what? I'm gonna try that out.
I don't think it was one campaign per se. I think it was. I mean, as a creator, you go to these conventions. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to shell out for the hotel, the flights, the rental car, or you got to eat. You know what I mean? And it's like you kind of make money that way, especially if you live in Hawaii and you got to fly to the mainland. You're looking at $600,000-$700,000 a flight.
Yep.
Lucky if you make that on the table. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We were fortunate when the conventions came around in Hawaii, because then we could just go to the inner islands, right, and we could do our little convention scene here. And I love that, because those little shows would pay for itself, and then it would pay for the next book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so when COVID hit, all of that went away, and it's like, I'm not done telling my story yet. You know what I mean? And I'm not done telling stories. This is what we do. This is just who we are. And so it's like, okay, well, what is the next thing? It's got to be Kickstarter. You know what I mean? It's got to be crowdfunding. You know what I mean? And so here I am at Kickstarter, and then I joined. I don't know if you you're part of the comics launch program.
Yes.
So anyways, so I joined the comics launch program, and that was the thing that really, really helped me out, and really, really like broke everything down into a science, and like, oh, okay, you can actually do this. And so I went through that program, and just ingesting all of that information took a while. And then I started slowly going, and then I would get slowed down, because one, my skill level at all of the computer stuff, but also because of the projects, and then also because of real life. Like we know as creators that you got to balance it out. You know what I mean? You gotta live, you gotta pay your bills, and then you gotta come back and do the stuff that you gotta do, and all of that.
Brandon Rodriguez says, I just right now, to get the new cover design for issue 1, picked up the first 2 issues in 2017 from you at Amazing Hawaii Comic-Con. There you go.
I remember that guy. Yeah, I remember Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. He actually he drew me He actually sent in artwork that he drew, and I remember. Yeah, I remember you, Brandon. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. I remember. That was good times, man.
Yeah,
that was good times.
No, definitely. So I mean, all right, DJ. We've been at this for a minute. We're not at the end. We're real close, though. All right. So before, I got a bunch of goofy questions to ask you before we close out. But before we do that, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
So you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at First Watch Studios, or EXILLION has a Facebook page, or my name, DJ Keawekane, on Instagram and Twitter. Facebook won't let me be DJ Keawekane. They won't let anybody be DJ, so it's Dowyne Keawekane. But if you look up First Watch Studios, I'm the guy there. So, usually there's the crossover happens and all of that. So First Watch Studios is the easiest way. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm also working on trying to get up my YouTube page, and that's on whole lot of, you know what I mean? Like you doing them, you know what I mean? And it's like, trying to do all of that the streaming and all of that is like, okay. Now I gotta level up even more, you know what I mean? So, but that I think that would probably come better for me, because sitting down drawing, and I could put the camera on the drawing and do that probably work. I don't know, probably work better. Hopefully,
My wife does that all the time. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's on there. She's drawing. If she's talking or whatever, she's interviewing somebody while she's drawing. You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. She's been doing it for a few years. All right, cool. So, Mr. DJ, I got some questions for you. All right. So, like I said, these two questions I pretty much ask everybody. If you had the choice of any artist, living or dead, doesn't matter. Don't worry about the budget. Any artist, living or dead, who would you want to get to do a cover for your book?
Oh, mine would be Joe Mad. Joe
Okay.
Madureira or Madureira. I don't know how you say his name.
Madureira.
Yeah, Madureira. That would be like hands down the guy. Bam, right there.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, if they called you, you got the golden ticket, and they called you up to the big companies, and they said, DJ, whatever IP you want, right? You want to work on. Doesn't matter what it is. Whatever IP you want, it could be Marvel, DC, anyone, Image, whatever. What IP would you want to work on the most?
Oh, I'd have to say the X-Men. Like hands down would be the X-Men.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Now,
Yeah.
now, if you weren't writing it yourself, who would you want to get as a writer?
On my book?
Yeah, well, on the X-Men.
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 Oh, X-Men. Oh, I would. Oh man, I would have to bring back Chris Claremont, man. Like
Nice.
just have his wacky. He's and his stories. They were kind of soap opera-ish, but
Mhm.
he was the heart and soul for me. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
he could have any artist, whatever, but he was the guy writing the stories. That's why and it was runs back then. John Byrne's run, and like Mark Silvestri's run, and Alex, whoever it was that was doing their runs, they had runs back then. You know what I mean? And like once he's off the book, it kind of gets wonky. And I like the art in the after he left. Sorry, I'm going on. After he left, he kind of bumbled along. But if he was still writing, it wouldn't have become what it became. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Just I understand. I understand what why he left and all of that and what was happening at the time. But for me, would have to be Chris Claremont. Like yeah.
Mhm. That's fair. That's fair. That's cool. Listen, Chris Claremont did a lot of great work on the X-Men. Like that Phoenix saga.
Yeah.
Look, to this day, I don't feel it's been beat. Not even Grant Morrison was able to beat that. And Grant is an excellent writer. And I mean,
but he kept the stakes. Like, you know what I mean? Like when she died. Like, you know what I mean? It was Marvel's idea to bring her back. And you cannot have the stories be what it is if you're going to keep bringing these characters back. You know what I mean? And so, like just that stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Just having that real just a writer's touch, and they want to do something specific. I want to be the guy that draws whatever that is. You know what I mean? And they can pull in whichever, because there's a collaboration process where the artist and the writer they kind of speak, and he was speaking to, I forget who else he was speaking to, but they kind of had the little I don't know, soapbox or whatever, and then they came up with the stories.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it wouldn't necessarily be the greatest all the time, but still, yet it was still them. There was still a magic about it. There was still like something that you felt like this is where it should be. Like, you know what I mean? Like it like the action is gonna pick up at some point. It's coming back around, and maybe these issues have a lot of the girls going shopping or whatever it is, but it didn't matter because it was coming back around. You know what I mean? And so I just missed that. I missed those times, and it wasn't like event, big heading. You know what I mean? It wasn't geared for sales. It was geared for story, and I just missed that.
No, I got you, man. Listen, I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
All right. So now I got some comparatives for you. I will softball you, and then we'll work our way in. All right. So Captain America or Batman?
Captain America for me. I mean, I like Batman, but I feel like he's he's so pushed over, like, not pushed over, but he's like overrated already. You know what I mean?
Boy, he's been a little played out.
Yeah, he's played out. Yeah.
Mhm. Godzilla or Gamera?
Godzilla or Godzilla.
Okay, fair enough. Um, The Fifth Element or Stargate?
Ooh, that's a good one. If it's the movies,
Yes.
Stargate. If it's the whole thing all together, The Fifth Element, because I only like the first movie, the Stargate movie. When you add in all of that other stuff, you lost me over there. Sorry, I'm not that much of a Stargate guy.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Are you much of a horror fan?
Depends on when, like 80s, 90s, not so much the newer stuff.
Okay. So here, I got one for you.
Okay.
Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers?
I'll tell you to say Freddy Krueger. I'll take Jason.
You take
Michael
Jason?
Myers is all right. He's scary too, but it's got to be Jason.
Gotcha. Doctor Strange or John Constantine?
That's a good one. I'm gonna go with Doctor Strange only because only because, and it's not by much. I like Constantine too. You know, I like Constantine too. And honestly, I do like the Keanu Reeves Constantine actually.
So do I. The Brits hate it. But yeah, I like that version as well.
Yeah.
Frank Miller or Alan Moore?
Frank Miller.
Okay. Now I'll ask you that one. Why?
Oh man, the Dark Knight Returns and the Wolverine. The Wolverine run that we all love about that. Oh,
Him and Chris Claremont?
I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from Alan Moore. Alan Moore is great too, but just those two, man. Like, oh yeah, man, Dark Knight Returns and all of that, and the fact that he draws too. You know what I mean? And the fact that Frank Miller, like Alan Moore is good, but honestly, I would hate to draw on Alan Moore's script with all of his descriptions. It would be good. It would be good because I would have a clear picture as to what he wants. But now I'm a slave to what it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And as an artist, just tell me it's a bookshelf. You don't have to describe the bookshelf. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to describe what books are on. Just tell me it's a bookshelf. You know what I mean? Like that's just too much for me. You know, but his stories is good. You know, but I gotta go with Frank Miller.
I got you. Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
I gotta go with Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
If it was before all of this new Star Wars, I would say Star Wars. But my goodness, I'm sorry, Obi-Wan was so bad.
I like the last episode.
Yeah, me too. I like the last 10 minutes. But think about this though. Everything I like about that last episode is because it's pointing to what we already like about the series.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's the only reason why you like that. Why I like it. Everything else, all the new stuff. Bleh, bleh. You know
I liked Rogue One.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Rogue One.
Yeah. I really like the Mandalorian.
Yes, I enjoyed the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian was like a pivot in the right direction, and then it fell it with Boba Fett. I don't like Boba Fett.
Well, I like the 2 episodes that the Mandalorian took over. Right? Was it 6?
Exactly.
5 and 6?
Yeah, exactly.
Those 2 episodes were really good.
And we were off to the races, and then and not only that, you're changing Boba Fett. This is not who Boba Fett is. You know? Yeah. And this whole and you're talking about I'm a Hawaiian. You know what I mean? I know Tamura Morrison is a Maori and all of that. Do all of that. Just do Boba Fett. Boba Fett is that. He should have been one different version of what the Mandalorian was. He just take the Wookiee and go off and go do your adventures. You know what I mean? That would have been great. You know what I mean? Like just take the slave one and just go. Yeah. That would have been awesome. I gotta go with Lord of the Rings. So I gotta go with the Lord of the Rings, and I'm totally gonna boycott the new the the Rings of Power thing. I'm not gonna even do that.
It's funny. I'm always willing to watch the first 15 minutes, or even the first episode. I'll do that if they can grab me with that. I say okay, I'll be in.
Yeah, I cannot do them. It's like you cannot. To me, it's like you cannot betray the spirit of the original. You know what I mean? The spirit of the original has to remain intact, and you cannot bring all of these things that is so different or so diametrically opposed to what the original spirit of the movie is, and try force feed me that, and try tell me that no, this is good for you. Like, I'm not gonna buy that. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to just follow what Peter Jackson did. Like, so, yeah.
We'll see. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see. Secret Wars or Crisis on Infinite Earths?
I never read Crisis on Infinite Earths, honestly. But so I'll go with Secret Wars.
All right, that's fine. Here's one for you. I'll see how deep your comic roots go.
Okay.
Comic year 1986 or comic year 1991.
Oh, that's a good. I know where you're going. And I wasn't. So 91 was when I got into comics.
Mm-hmm.
But oh man, I gotta say 91 only because I'm an artist. You know what I mean? The art was in 1986. The stories were so good.
Mm-hmm.
But the art wasn't quite there yet. You know what I mean? And I came in because of the art. You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
For me, it was backwards. I came in because of the art, and then I got hooked onto the Marvel bug, and then I went forward a little bit, and then it started getting crappy, and then I went backwards, and I was like, "Whoa, I missed all of this." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but my first love is, the Wolf Potasio and the Jim Lee, and you know what I mean, all the Image guys. So, and I'm an art guy. I'm sorry, that's just who I am.
No, that's fine.
Come for the art and stay for the story. You know what I mean? Like, I came for the art and I stayed for the story. You know what I mean?
Right. It's a funny question, because it all depends on where you were born. Because for me, I'm 1986, right? Because I'm a little bit older, right? So I'm like, for me, it's Watchmen, John Byrne on Superman, and Frank Miller on Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Right?
See, for me in 1986, I want to say fourth grade, and I wasn't even reading comics yet. And so for me, it was in the 90s when I found those things. You know what I mean? So I probably found them in 90, I want to say 93, 94. You know what I mean? So 91 was 90, actually. 1990 was the jumping on point for me.
Right.
And I went like this, and then I went backwards. You know what I mean? So the year that, anyways, yeah. The 501, the Levi's 501 blue.
Commercial,
that Rob Liefeld trick. I was 8th grade when that came out, and that blew my mind. And I was like, oh my God, if this guy's 19 and he can do it, I got 5 years and I can be there.
So I can be there, I can do it. But I mean, listen, good on him.
Here I am 35 years later. Now we keep starting.
Bro, I'm right there with you. I'm right there. Listen, I was 14, maybe 13 when I first saw in the Comic Buyer's Guide an ad for the Teenage Ninja. It was an article for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? It says 2 guys from Boston. Issue 2 is coming out. It was real hot, right? And I looked at that ad and I looked at that picture and I was like, I could do that. Right, and I've been chasing that sucker ever since.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like, but it is what it is, man. I love doing what I'm doing. So
yeah.
That's all that matters. All right, I'll ask you a couple more of these, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yes.
Buffy or Supernatural?
Supernatural.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh, you into science fiction?
Yeah.
All right. So let's see how this one runs. Dune 1984 or Dune 2021?
Dune. I gotta say 2021.
Okay.
That was a rough one too, and only because, and I wasn't a huge fan of the second one either. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The I saw Dune in whatever 1980, whatever that was, and I was like, I don't ever have to see this movie again. Like, it
Gotcha.
just wasn't my thing. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I ended up being a fan because I read the book. So I read the book, and then I saw the movie, and then I was like, oh, okay.
Okay. See, the whole Messiah, the space Messiah stuff is like okay, but at the same time, that second movie, that second 6 hour, whatever it was, I don't know, it's so long.
Right.
I fell asleep like twice during the middle of that movie, and it's like, and I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I never miss anything. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. All right, we're gonna wrap it up on this one. We're gonna hit you with a nice fantasy one.
Okay.
Game of Thrones or The Witcher.
I haven't finished watching The Witcher, but there's something I like Game of Thrones, but there's something I don't like about it, and it's like everything is so negative. Like what's his name? The writer. It's like
George R. Martin.
George R. Martin is like, I don't know. Something about it is like the core of it is not. The heart of it is not good. You know what I mean? Like it's entertaining. It's good. The characters are good. There are things you love about the series, but there's an undertone to the whole spirit of it that I just don't like.
It's mean.
Yeah,
it's what it is. It's mean. Just like The Boys. The Boys is mean. Like it is nasty mean. It was just like, and it's funny. I just had a conversation with someone, right? And they love, like, Stranger Things and The Boys just both came out, right? And they were talking about how much they love Stranger Things. Right. And I was like, that's true. I said, Stranger Things is great. I says, but The Boys, especially, I don't know if you've watched this current season. It's on it now. Okay, I think as far as the writing is concerned, it's on another level.
Right.
It's like they're doing stuff in there, and I'm like, wow. They're doing stuff in there that's really, really, like, just on point.
Right.
That's not to say Stranger Things didn't do that, but I'm just saying there are levels. But this is like arguing between A plus.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's that argument. A plus, A plus plus. It's that argument. You know what I mean? So it's like it's really hard.
Too. The Boys is a lot bloodier and a lot more. It's darker. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think like it's mean, but it's also there's some rays of hope in it too. You know what I mean? Like. There's some rays in hope in The Boys that is lacking in Game of Thrones. You know what I mean?
This is true, right? It's not as see, because in The Boys you find yourself laughing a lot,
right?
Where you don't ever really see that. You don't encounter much of that in Game of Thrones,
right? Exactly.
So what's up, creators? What's up?
Hail, creators outlet. Okay, but yeah, what was it? I gotta say, oh man. See, I didn't finish The Witcher. But there's something good about The Witcher that I like. You know what I mean? Like the undertone of it is good. Right. So I gotta go with Witcher. You know what I mean? But having said that, now I gotta go back and finish all those episodes that I just stopped watching. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I got you. All right, cool. DJ, man, this was awesome. Do me a favor, one more time. Let everybody know where they can find you and your work.
You can right now Kickstarter is EXILLION Creed of the Night and Hawk. I think we got like 70 hours left. Or you can find me on social media on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me at First Watch Studios or my name DJ Keawekane. And on Facebook you can find me also at First Watch Studios or EXILLION or Dowyne Keawekane Jr. They won't let me be DJ on Facebook, so it's Dowyne Keawekane. So yeah, you can find me on social media.
All right, cool. So my name's JD Calderon. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, DeviantArt, all under JD Calderon. You can find me here just about every Sunday. Normally I do a podcast show on Sunday. I took yesterday off, but I'll be back next weekend with another group of fine fellows talking about indie comics and campaigns and all that good stuff. DJ, thank you so much for being here. It was awesome. And everybody, go check out EXILLION. Looks like a great book. I'm going to back it myself. Looks fantastic. Thank you, DJ. And that's it, guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.